Now, Sports Talk with Broads. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads on this beautiful Saturday morning. When we wake up tomorrow, it's a damn game day. Okay, when you wake up Sunday morning knowing your squad is playing at 1 o'clock for the first time that season, there's just something about it. You're already feeling the weather change. It's a bit cooler. We're transitioning into the best time of the year when it's late September-ish, early October. The smell is outrageous, all right? The fact that you can switch the wardrobe up, go back to the pants, I love it. I'm all about it. I go back to my game day rituals, which is wake up, brew some coffee for the missus, make some eggs, maybe do a little chocolate chip pancakes, have the bacon smelling, the dog's nose is going crazy. That's what it's all about, that feeling beforehand and during. There's nothing like it. And I can't believe we're finally here, you know? It's like crazy. You think about the grind, and look, I love baseball. Too many people put baseball in this category of get me to football season. I love it way more than that, you know, especially because these games are the most important times of the year, yet it somehow gets into the shadow of another sport. I get how big the NFL is. I'm just saying that's how people view baseball. I don't, but we're here, and the fact that we went through all those days of June and July and the MLB All-Star break, and before you know it, you know, we're going to be watching kickoff, and we already saw an outstanding game on Thursday night where Josh Allen is being Josh Allen. This dude's electric, man, and, you know, I don't know if Matthew Stafford's 100% healthy. I would say he doesn't look like it. That offensive line was getting abused, but I thought that there was something that I saw out of the Bills that the Eagles can somewhat mold. And I know that they're the Bills, and they're going to have a scarier defense than the Eagles when it's all said and done. But you saw what pressure can do, and you saw how you could play if your front gets home. And looking at what they have collectively in the trenches on that side of the football, you know, I think that that is something that they could possibly beat teams with, especially this Detroit Lions squad. And we're going to get into the matchups and talk about all sorts of things. I mean, Howie Roseman is making cap space, basically $10 million. What's his thought process? Does it have to do with CJ Gardner-Johnson? Does it have to do with something else? Maybe just opening up money for just in case there's going to be a trade at some point to bring in some talent if somebody goes down and they need to help out by, you know, making a splash at some point during the year. I don't know, but this is why when you think about what the New Orleans Saints had to do with Mickey Loomis to get rid of a C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the way Howie Roseman creates all this space, it gives you that flexibility, and not everyone is aware on how to do it, and that's why Howie gets the praise that he does when it comes to manipulating the cap space and getting guys signing bonuses and getting money off the books. It really is crazy the way that he does it. But look, the Eagles team, I don't want to hear it that Dan Campbell has the Lions in a new spot, and save me all that trash. The Eagles, I demand them, if they're going to take the approach they did, which is get everybody healthy and not do a lot of training camp. That's fine. A lot of teams are doing that. There's a lot of good teams that are going to win a lot of games, that are going to go very far, and probably a Final Four type of situation where you're in championship weekend, who didn't do diddly squat during preseason and training camp. The Rams were the example last year, and you couldn't really judge that based off of the two teams that played on Thursday. One team looked bad, one team looked hungry, but you look at the way they handle their preseasons, there's not much to engage. And also, another reason why it's flawed to a degree is not every team is the same. So let's use a ranking system of 1 to 10. 10 are the best teams in the league. If a team was a 6 and they didn't practice in preseason and they lose a lot of games, or they didn't tackle hard to the ground, or they didn't do a lot during preseason games, well, maybe it's because their talent is a 6 and they're not a 10 as to why they look out of whack, why their offense looks bad. What we need is the same team and the same roster to somehow duplicate themselves, so there's two versions of the same exact team. One team prepares differently in the preseason, the other team doesn't, and then you would see somewhat of the results. But obviously, that's impossible. I already spent too much time talking about that. I feel like we've already stressed it over the last couple of months, so shame on me. But if you think about, this matchup all around the field, come on, man. I mean, what is Hutchinson going to do? The offensive line is the bread and butter of this team, and realistically, they have 3 reserves that could be starters all around this league. Andre Dillard could start at left tackle in this league. Cam Jurgens, dude. The way they're talking about this game, they wanted to cross-train him at guard, but because Kelsey went down and needed that surgery, unfortunately, and we say that somewhat facetiously, but unfortunately, he had to use his time that he was going to cross-train to play center, and he looked damn good doing it, getting to the second level, blowing people up. Jack Driscoll could start in this league. It's outrageous. What do they have? I expect this to look very similar to how it looked against the Atlanta Falcons last year when the season began. Matchups all across the board, advantage Eagles. So I bring it up because if you're going to handle preseason and camp the way that you did, fine. I have no issues with it. You better show the fuck up week 1, though. You better take advantage week 1, though, of what's out there. I want to see an offense that's throwing the rock. I don't want to see them, let's put Jalen Hurts in a position to maximize. I was once that way. I will openly admit I was once that way. I'm not anymore. It's go mode. And the reason why I know we're going to get that is Nick Sirianni didn't want to play the way they played last year. He was forced to because at one point you recognize it ain't working. We don't have the players. We don't have the personnel. We got to do something new. And that's why I was disgusted with Gannon. Because Reuben Frank put out a piece on NBC Sports Philadelphia looking at both sides, which is fair. At least he did both sides. He left out a little bit of context that I will tell you about. And he brought up Gannon, right? Well, Gannon didn't have the pieces. And even though he didn't have the pieces, statistically, he was still able to put the Eagles in a good position by the end when ranking the D compared to everyone else, when you look at the talent. Well, why aren't you looking at the talent that they played? You're playing Jake Fromm, okay? You're playing Mike Glennon. You're playing Trevor Siemian. You're playing garbage. Now, you can only control what's ahead of you. The Eagles can't control who the quarterback is. They were winning those football games, and I give them credit for not falling on their face. They did what they're supposed to do, beat a bad opponent. But those numbers were not against Derek Carr, okay? They were not against Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady. When Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen, knowing that Nick Sirianni gave up the play calling at one point, but collectively as an offensive unit, they realized that X, Y, and Z isn't working. We need to go to A, B, and C. That's fine. That's adjusting. Now, what we need to do is get Hurts to be able to be X, Y, and Z because that's how you win in this league. You got to throw the football. When the game's all said and done, you might see more balance, but that's because good teams throw the ball to get a lead, run the ball to burn the clock. So you look afterwards, it was a 60-40 split. Yeah, but in the meat and potatoes of the action, when you were going for victory and you were, putting your foot on the gas, scoring a couple of touchdowns, it was because you were airing it out. And I expect to see that. Gannon wasn't able to do that last year. He just played worse opponents. I want to see this defense. When I say the word aggressive, that doesn't mean blitz, blitz, blitz. Because everyone saw the numbers about the way that Matthew Stafford threw some interceptions and the lack of blitz in here and what quarterbacks do when they do get blitz. Yeah. I got you. Aggressive doesn't mean blitz. Aggressive means don't give them space. Aggressive means Darius Slay suffocating every wide receiver when they're at the line of scrimmage. Press coverage. Make them earn it. I don't scream blitz every second. That's not me. But you can't have great corners playing 8 yards off and then see a quarterback walk up to the line of scrimmage with a smile on his face, completing passes at an elite historic pace. I don't expect that because there's too much talent on this team. I almost feel that this is something that he can't screw up. Hassan Reddick, James Bradbury. I'm annoyed here. And look, I'm positive about this team. I think they're going to win a lot of football games. But I'm aggravated because I saw some things last year that bothered me, and I'm hoping that they change with the DC. But one of the messages we heard was, CJ Gardner-Johnson, it's great you brought him in because it's an easy transition from nickel to safety. And I agree with that. But then a couple of days later, we hear, well, we don't know how much time he had in this scheme yet, and he's going to have to learn some things, so we don't know exactly how many snaps he's going to. What? I thought it was an easy transition, which it is. The nickel to safety, the scheme, it pans out to be something that could work, and I have faith in it. But they take this competitive advantage. Let me tell you something, Jonathan. If it takes you, the competitive balance, that's the difference. In the Lions knowing or not knowing that C.J. Gardner-Minshew, why do I always say that? Gardner-Johnson. I don't know if I said Gardner-Minshew or not in earlier time screaming his name. But if that's the difference in winning or losing this football game, you suck as a defensive coordinator. I'm just saying. Please. No one's dumb. No one's stupid. You made the trade for him. You let go of Anthony Harris, and your alternatives are Blankenship and Kayvon Wallace. Guess who's playing football on Sunday? All right? I just don't understand it. I really don't. It's ridiculous. But I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I know there's some things that frustrate me, and I expect them to look different this year. And the problem is they haven't given me anything to know because the way that they handled their business this offseason, I have no idea, right? If I got to get a little glimpse and a little more knowledge on how they were going to operate, well, then I'd have a different tone about it because I would have seen it with my eyeballs. We haven't seen a damn thing. It's been one of the most bizarre off seasons when it comes to Eagles fandom in quite some time because it's like they're limiting the hype. Even though there is hype, it would be aggressively more if we could actually see the players, talk to the players, have a relationship with the players like years past. But once again, I'm doing what I did before, and I don't want to. Jalen Hurts in the passing game. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. I expect the ball to be flying, man. The way that I heard it in simple terms is if last year was one read, run, this year Jalen Hurts throughout camp seemed to be, and this is someone who is very close to the team and covers the team and is there daily when the media is allowed to be. This year is more, you got your one read, your two read, and then from there. So there is a step in his game. My question is that enough? Is that enough? Do you need a quarterback that goes 1, 2, 3 read? 1, 2, 3, 4. Read all of your progressions. And then from there, this offensive line is going to hold up. Trust me, this offensive line is going to give you plenty of time. That's why I'm extremely fascinated. I mean, a lot of the guys who are around every day say, yes, he has improved. There's no doubt about it. There's still throws you would like for him to make, but he's doing some great things out there that he didn't necessarily do last season. That's great. That's fine. Is the jump enough? And at this point, there's no sugarcoating it. It's sink or swim for Jalen. I love his attitude. I love his work ethic. Nobody's ever going to or guess or what's the word I'm looking for here? No one's going to wonder if he gave it all, if he left it all out there on the field. Of course he did. The dude is obsessed. The guy studies. He works on his craft aggressively. So it's all there. But will the tools follow out on the field? They're going to win a lot of football games, but I almost have a bigger picture in mind throughout this season. See, this sounds uncomfortable to say because in sports it's all about wins and losses. But I value the future of what the Eagles are going to be this season with the eye test, the scheme, the quarterback, more so because you could win games running a certain style of offense with Hurts that I don't believe in, that I don't think will be enough to actually get to where we want to. And if that's the case, I don't want that. I need to find out. I need answers. Last year, we went in with an open mind saying, let's learn about Gannon. Let's learn about Sirianni. Let's learn about Jalen Hurts. And then this year, we're almost going into the season saying, well, let's learn about Gannon. Let's learn about Hurts. Well, I thought we did that last year, right? So at this point, that's it. I get circumstances changes things. JG has more talent. Hurts has more talent. No more Jay Jaw. No more Jalen Reagor. It's Pascal as your worst option, who, by the way, there's a lot of people that say he surprised us a bit in camp. Like, I thought he'd just be like a guy. Well, maybe he's a little bit more than a guy, which is tremendous news. Can help out in some good areas. All right. But there's too much there. With Sanders, he talks a big game. Show it to me. He had 0 touchdowns last year. Show it to me. I'm not saying he can't. Once again, I need to see it with my eyeballs. smarter football. He smells himself a lot. I'm a little bothered by myself right here because we're 15 minutes in. It's almost like I hate this football team. I don't hate this football team, I promise you. I'm very excited. I guess I'm just having all of this fuel. So this would be the venting show. The venting show before kickoff. And what I mean by that is this is allowing me to let you know what I despised last year and what I need changed. And I expect all of this to change, but when I replay everything that occurred, it's almost lighting the fire back up. So if it seems like I'm mad, and maybe it doesn't even seem like I'm mad, and just internally it sounds like it would sound like I'm mad, if that makes sense. I'm getting all of it out because as soon as kickoff begins, it's a new fresh slate, and it's the start of a new season, and the expectations are high. I had this team at 10-7 a way back. When they made CJ Gardner-Johnson move, I thought, okay. And plus, Jason Peters playing left tackle for the Cowboys. That guy blows. They lost a lot of weapons just throughout the year. We knew that at some point, but the Jason Peters, your left tackle goes down. It's a big-time loss for them. I'm now upgrading one more win. I see them as 11-6. You got to win the division. If last year was wild card, lose first round, pretty ugly. This year, the bar is set as win the division, win a playoff game. That's my expectation before the year begins. Division win. That might be 10 wins. Maybe it's not 11. Maybe it's 10. Maybe it's 10-7 that wins the division. Fine. See, it's not as easy as this because sometimes you can get confused. Well, if last year they were a 9-win team and they added all of this talent to the roster, that's 4 more wins. The difference is you're not going to get the luxury of the same quarterbacks that you played last season. So it may only be 1 or 2 more wins in the W column, but the substance in those wins hold more weight. You beat Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. You go on the road and have a massive road win against a really strong quarterback. So that win means a lot more than beating Mike Glennon, means a lot more than beating Trevor Siemian, means a lot more than beating Taylor Heineke. You're not going to get those type of quarterbacks week in and week out the way that you did. We've watched football a long time. It's never that easy. Well, you added 7 players. You're going to win 4 more games. When does it ever pan out that way? It doesn't. So still be very, very solid, very, very productive if you're in that early double-digit range. Win the division, get yourself a postseason game, win it, and then from there we'll see what it's all about. With Hurts, you know who I'm excited for is 2 guys. Jordan Davis. I can't wait to see this dude. Man, the double teams, he's going to eat up so much space that guys are going to have some big-time days at the office, clocking in and clocking out. There's going to be some edge rushers throughout Jordan Davis's career that ends up getting some massive paydays because of what he provides. And it's going to help out someone else when it comes to returning from an injury, older age. Brandon Graham. I think Brandon Graham's going to have some big-time life to him this season. Sometimes guys just fall apart there, right? Alshon Jeffrey just fell apart at one point. Ryan Kerrigan fell apart at one point. We mock Kerrigan and we make fun of him for his time here, but, he was a damn good player at one point. I don't expect that to be Brandon Graham. He falls in that range of guys that I believe have the right attitude to come back and the sort of motivation to come back the right way. But guys like Jordan Davis, man, you look at Nakobe Dean film in Georgia, Nakobe Dean, majority of his stuff is him making great plays and filling gaps and making tackles. Like, I don't want to take away from what he does so well, but then go look at the line and see what's happening in the interior. It's like Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean is the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You need both to make it as beautiful as it is. Like, I don't want to, I'm not making it seem like Nakobe Dean can't be great without Jordan Davis. I'm just saying that's what he does. So I can't wait to see the rotation. What does this mean for Fletcher Cox? Last year, him and JG butted heads because of the way that he was used. Didn't like it. Came out publicly and spoke about it. when it came to, the way that he he was on that line. It's crazy. But he's up in his career, the way that they filter these guys in to keep them fresher throughout the 17 games. It's a lot of questions, man, but I'm pumped up. I really am. Kelsey expectation. Yeah, I thought that was... I'll go to Kelsey's expectation discussion, and then we'll take a couple anytime hotline calls. But he was speaking to the media about the public, just the expectation in general on this team, and he was somewhat tampering down it because it seemed like maybe the locker room was feeling themselves a bit. That's why you have the Jason Kelce's of the world. That's why you have these guys in the locker room that we trust so much. But he took a shot at Nick Sirianni a bit, saying like, he coaches you too. One, I love it so much that we have someone that we could rely on to this level. But two, I wonder, what does that mean? Did he sense that? He was in the room after they won the Super Bowl where they looked at their roster on paper and thought that there was more talent, and then they ended up collapsing and falling apart and looking completely different than anticipated. I want to have the bar high. I don't think this should change the way fans feel, but there's a big disparity in the way a locker room should feel and the way a fan base should feel. And I remember asking Tim McManus, who covers the Birds for ESPN, he joins us on The Fanatic all the time, and I asked him, like, what is the atmosphere like there? Are they too cocky? Are they too confident? Are they going over the line? Are they at the perfect line? And he sort of laid it out like they're in a good spot. Yeah, they do feel good, but they're not taking it to an extreme or anything. They know. They're excited. They should be excited, right? You bring in A.J. Brown. You bring in James Bradbury. You get help at the safety position. You draft Jordan Davis. You bring in someone like Cam Jurgens who, can play. You get a Zach Pascal. Like, yeah, you should have some swag to you. This was earlier in the offseason, though. Did it progress too much to Jason Kelce's liking? Has he just been around the block so long? It's like, dude, listen to me. Trust me. I've been in locker rooms that didn't feel great before a year. I've been in locker rooms that felt okay. And I've been in locker rooms that, thought they were the greatest team in the world, and a reality check happened quickly. You got to stay status quo. You got to take it week by week. They can take it week by week. That's how I want them to act. But he threw the coach in there, too. And I wouldn't be shocked if you told me that Nick Sirianni can go a tad bit too far with excitement. That's all. I just thought it was funny. All right, anytime hotline calls. Let's hear from you out there about this matchup on Sunday against the Lions.
Just wanted to give my thoughts on Eagles-Lions coming up on Sunday. I mean, coming into the season, we upgraded every position that we had to upgrade, secondary, linebacker, wide receiver, and that's all due to the credit of Howie Roseman. Even though I'll give him credit, I will eat my words considering I was calling him to get fired 2 years ago. But long story short, this game, in my opinion, this game in this season, it all comes down to how Jalen Hurts plays. He has been given a tremendous opportunity to succeed because he has good receivers, good offensive line, he's got good running backs, and he's got a good defense that should be able to not put him in situations to bring us back. But if you ask me, though, about this game on Sunday, I'm not going to sleep on the Lions, to be 100% real with you. I think they're a young, scrappy team. They play hard, and Dan Campbell is sending them in the right direction. If I had to give a score prediction, look, I would say it's going to be maybe 27-24, maybe us. But I think, though, that the Lions are going to give us a game.
Wow, okay. I don't see it that way. I don't think it'll be that close. If it's 27-24, I think my Sunday night reaction is going to be a little bit strong, and I'd be annoyed with some of the things that I saw. Yeah, I get not sleeping on the Lions. Their over-under is at 6.5, just to put it in perspective on what the league thinks that they could be. I could see them winning 6 football games or so, but look, I think this whole Dan Campbell thing, there's going to be adrenaline. Everybody has adrenaline that first game, and week one always is a bit weird because you don't really have that football feel yet, and you don't know much about teams and all that. Like the Eagles mollywopped the Falcons game one, but they didn't look that way all year, so it's not a real true judgment on who everybody is. I feel when you look at the NFC and the Los Angeles Rams, they're still going to be a damn good football team, even though they struggled in week one against the Buffalo Bills. I mean, good teams do win week one and look completely different when they roll through 6-7 weeks afterwards and they put together some really strong football. But I'm not afraid of the Lions. I'm not afraid of Dan Campbell. I look at the matchups all around the field. And if Jonathan Gannon lets Jared Goff and this offense whoop you, that's on him. Like that's unacceptable. And I think there's too much talent for that to happen. Even if he does screw up, even if he does mess up. Because now you got talent that can make up for those miscues to a degree. To a degree, to a degree, to a degree. Let me be clear, to a degree. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be 31-10. And trust me, I'm not someone every single week who's just going to say, Eagles win, Eagles win, Eagles win. I'll keep it how it is. I'll let you know they're probably going to lose this week. I'll say that if I feel that, and I will feel that throughout this season. Ooh, I don't know. The matchups look tough. More times than not, considering I think the Eagles will be a good team, I'll lean their way this season. I didn't necessarily do that a lot last year until you started to see certain quarterbacks. Where are they going to win? Because it's not the trenches. The Lions are banged up on the offensive line. So this defensive line for the Birds should eat. Who's going to beat this offensive line on the Lions consistently enough? Now, last year there were a lot of penalty issues for the Eagles early on, whether it was holding or something along that. Is that going to happen again due to lack of snaps and lack of timing? I guess anything is possible. But will it happen enough for the team to be costed a win because of it? I'd be shocked. I'd be stunned if this was a super close game. I really would be. There's no excuse. Yeah, you know what? The Lions aren't a one-win football team anymore. They're not a zero-win football team anymore. But if we're talking about flirting between 6 wins or 7 wins with a 6.5 total, they're not a good football team. If this was week 7, week 8, and you saw a team that was projected to win 6 by the end of the year, how would you feel leading up to the week? And I'm not going to change just because it's week 1. All over the field, your talent better than their talent. It's got to be better than 27-24. A win's a win and you take it. But I'd expect 70,000 better things to occur when the season's getting rolling. All right, we'll take another one here.
How you doing, Hunter? It's week 1 of the NFL season, like Christmas morning to most, myself included. Eagles, Lions, look, the Eagles slapped them pretty good last year. I do think with it being the opener, and, you know, there might be some sloppy play at the start, I don't think it's going to be as much of a beatdown as last year. But in my opinion, it's a game the Eagles should win. I mean, we're the more talented team, and if, you know, you're the threat to the postseason that people claim that they are, this is a game you got to go out there and show it. My final score will be 34-13 Eagles. It might be a struggle at first, but as the game goes on, I think they pull away late. Go Birds.
All right, Sean, we're in the same exact category there. I see it the same way. This should be a beatdown. No excuses. I'm not tampering anything because it's week 1 and this and that. They handled business the way they wanted to handle business in the offseason. And I have no issues with it. Why? Look at the injury report. Guys are available. Guys are healthy. Your team's there. That doesn't mean I'm going to allow garbage, though, just because of it. It's cause and an effect. And for me, that's how I see it, from a fan. From me engaging with this team week in and week out. If there's something that happens because of your approach that I dislike, well, that's the effect. And I'm going to let you know how I feel. But I can't wait, man. You know, Saturday, it's like Christmas Eve as we wake up on this Saturday morning. Christmas Eve. I love the way the air smells right now. I love the morning times, the morning dew. So much cooler out. It's amazing. All right, everyone. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're going to have a fun Eagle season. I guarantee that. Thank you all so